So we've all seen it. One listing may get multiple offers in 2 or 3 days while the other ones sit as like crickets. And we wonder what's the difference for buyers and renters when a house hits the market. And we really realize it's the strategy of the launch. The impacts that we have as agents to really bring a house to market, whether it's for rent or for list. So today we're going to talk about how do we build that buzz and what are the strategies we use with our clients. And it's similar, but also different.
It's very similar.
Yes.
I mean, you're really looking at the key number one thing that all the searches do is they look for price.
Yes.
And then everything besides that, or everything that's secondary, they go look at that. For us, we're always, as far as determining the price, we do the same thing as y'all. We do comps.
Yes.
But we're looking at the rentals in the area. And with our stuff, I try to keep it like a half mile radius of the house. You're basically looking at that whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you may get a few houses outside of that, but you're trying to focus it on the neighborhood and what's going on there.
Yeah, because every neighborhood has different amenities.
It's a different price point for
different
each
builders, different things. And we do the same thing. We look within a 2-mile radius, but we want to stay within the general neighborhood.
Right.
We don't cross major streets because most appraisers don't do that either. But at the same time, the strategic side of the pricing, we have to deal with whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. You probably have a landlord or a tenant market as well.
Yep.
And if it's a seller's market, you have a little more flexibility with price. Maybe you can you can make more mistakes with it and not realize it. Whereas if it's a buyer's market or a tenant market, you have to be really strategic with price.
Extremely competitive.
Because there's more inventory.
There's more inventory on the market, and you're now looking at comparing, okay, I look at this house, it has these features. This one's a little $5 cheaper or $10 cheaper, but I can get this.
Yep.
So you got to be more. You got to be more looking at what you're doing.
It's just crazy to me the price difference per month with renting. That makes, if it's a $25 price difference, that's a huge deal for some people.
Or multiply it by 12.
Yeah,
and it's big.
It's a big number. Big. So we were talking about this before. Before you reduce the price of the rental, do you consider incentives instead to kind of drive the demand?
We right now we're running what I call a move-in. Mm-hmm. Don't call it a bonus, but a move-in,
like a special
move-in credit.
Yeah.
We'll credit the tenant portal once they get approved by the owners, and they start paying their money in. Then
what's the credit look like?
Right now we're looking at a $250 credit.
Oh, okay. So it offsets their first payment, essentially.
Basically, it's offsetting their application fees, and I always joke about it. You get your application fees paid for, and then you get a small dinner.
There you go. Because you didn't have to spend it, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for us, like we really have realized, especially nowadays, the price is everything. And we could try to offer concessions or offer other things. But what I've noticed in this market is when we offer concessions, they want the price reduction and the concessions. They want both. And so a lot of times I like to tell sellers, let's not lead with concessions because they're going to just add that on top of the price they already thought it would be. So that becomes a little bit tougher. The launch, though, I mean, we were talking about open houses. You guys don't.
We don't do open houses.
Do those? Do you know of any landlord, like anybody who does those on the regular? I don't see it often.
We don't.
It's not. What I see for open houses usually, yes, it does create an opportunity for an unrepresented buyer to come in the property, or maybe their agent's out of town and can't show. So it gives them an opportunity to come in. We limit our open houses to the first 2 weekends because that's when the most buzz happens. But a lot of times we're picking up leads. We're not necessarily picking up a buyer for that house. So I could see why it doesn't make sense for the rental because you're not necessarily looking for more tenants to pick up. You're looking for more landlords to pick up. So it doesn't quite make sense. We'll do it. And we've had, I think, maybe one whole house sell from the open house, but the rest we'll pick them up as a buyer later and work with them as a buyer agent. The timing of going to market, we've talked about this in previous episodes. Like I like to either go live on Tuesday or Wednesday. You said you're ready to just put it on whenever.
As soon as we can do it, we do it.
So that part of the launch strategy is not as big of a factor for you. I think the prep is probably the biggest thing.
I get owners, they want us to list the property the day the previous tenants move out. So it's not going to happen.
No.
You gotta fix the property. You got to get it in make-ready condition. And if you don't, you're cutting yourself in the throat by a prospective tenant is going to come in and they're going to look around and no way.
It's ick.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
And if you don't clean it up before they see it, you're losing them.
Yes.
And that's an opportunity you can't get back.
The one you might be getting is the one who doesn't care and probably not a great tenant anyway. So you're missing the quality tenants that could come in by not having the house prepped ready. Because I could see there's some people that'd be like, oh, sure, I'll take this, and think you don't care either, so I don't have to care as much about the property.
The hard thing for us is right now it's extremely competitive market. There's a lot of rentals on the market. And if your house isn't up to speed with all the others, you're gone.
So what are some of the criteria you're looking at when you're comparing? Obviously, price, presentation. Is there anything else you're comparing when you're doing your prep?
You want to look at the big thing, obvious things when you walk in. Smell. Oh, yes. Do you have a cooking smell? Do you have
can't
pet
smell
smells?
Through the pictures.
Paint.
Yep.
Carpet's cleaned. Just a general cleaning.
Goes a long way.
It definitely helps you out quite a bit.
So do you do any sort of like showing strategy to compress showings to a certain timeline, or you're just taking showings whenever they can come in?
We use self showings.
Okay.
So they contact us. They answer a bunch of qualification questions. They upload their ID, and then they can schedule a showing for whatever time is good for them. And we get, of course, a lot of realtors showing their clients. We do the same thing with them. We don't do the mini background check on the realtor. We just give the realtor a time. But we love those showings because the realtors.
We're doing our own version.
Representing us.
Yes.
In those situations. So, but that's what we do. And there's a lot of property management companies that don't want to do that. They want to show every single house. And we got too many for me to go around.
It slows down the process.
Yeah,
I can't tell you there's nothing more frustrating as a showing agent for a tenant and it's just such a pain to show in that process anyways, because it's not streamlined like if you were to show a traditional residential home for sale. We use a showing service, we schedule it gets approved, we move on. But with landlords, sometimes they have to be there. Sometimes it's a combo box under a tree and around and under a bridge. Like there's so many different ways to show the property. It's very hard to line it up. And if you need to change it, it gets difficult too. So the easier you can make it for those agents, the better. Yep. And they're going to want to show your property at that point, especially if there's so many to choose from. They'll just say, forget it. We're not going to see that one. We'll just move on to the next one.
And then we have a lockbox code or lockbox on there that's an electronic lockbox. So it generates random codes.
Oh, great.
So we tell the owner, it's a one-time shot. The realtor is going to get lockbox code. They use it, and then they can't get back in.
So it's still safe. Okay.
So it's a more safer.
Yes.
Safer option
than just a regular combo box with the dial. Okay.
Then anybody can come in after that.
Yeah, they just share it, and then you have a squatter issue and all that problem potentially. Correct. I love that. I didn't know you had that as a service. Okay. So we use the blue super boxes on ours, and you have to be licensed and background checked to get into those. And then I get a
get a report on
I get a report of who came in and what time and all that fun stuff. So then pre-launch marketing,
we get the same thing.
You do too, which is great. You just don't have to deal with the super part. Anyone could get in it if they need to. So we always have to have a secondary combo box on the property for someone who can't get into the super. So that's always fun. Tell me, do you do any like pre-launch marketing, like email lists or social media or anything like that? Is it necessary for your version?
We don't really do that. We create the listing, load the pictures in there.
Right.
We show it to the owners. They approve it. then we throw it
You're
on.
off and running.
We're going.
Yep. We seem to have to do more. I feel like we have to be very careful because clear cooperation, we can't actually list the address. We can just talk about the property. And so we'll put that in our email list or coming soon on social media. We have a couple different platforms we can do coming soon with as well. But I will say a lot of times it's really once it hits the MLS that it really gets the most eyeballs on it. You could try to pre-list all day.
We can't even use yard signs.
No, yeah. You got to have it on.
You can use yard signs.
I can't.
In most neighborhoods you can.
That's true. But I have to have it on MLS within, I think, 24 hours.
Right.
So
we can't put a for rent sign.
Because of the HOA?
HOA says that's not allowed.
Okay. So that's fun. Well, that's less inventory for you to have to hold on to.
So I got a box full of signs in my garage just sitting there.
I got a box too. Oh, that's too funny. When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to DunnDealOffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
To those who take the risk, who bet their life savings, their blood, sweat, and tears on a rental property to make a nice place for someone to live and a nice living for themselves. To those who get this call or no call at all. To those who keep adding more properties, it will all be worth it for you and for them. You care about preserving your investments. So do we. Real Property Management.
Okay, so then some of the mistakes we see are the overpricing just to see what happens. Like, let's list here and see what happens. And I know in our world, the moment you do that right now, if you've had to price reduce your home, you're losing up to 8 to 10% of your value. And you're adding 90 days to days on market, which then that's why it takes so much longer and you lose so much money. And the crazy part is when we sit down and do comps today and we don't sell for 120 days, guess the comps don't show anymore. They're too old. And so they're going to pick the newer comps where everybody else has been reducing price. And then they get shocked why they don't they're shocked they don't make appraisal anymore.
Right.
It's like, well, it took you 4 months because you wanted to start high to see what would happen. Well, here's what's going to happen. You're going to lose a lot of money and leave a lot of money on the table. But it's really hard to communicate that to sellers sometimes.
Right.
You guys have a little bit more condensed window to make adjustments.
I always tell my owners, if you want a price that's above what I'm telling you it really should be, I go, we'll try it.
Right.
We'll give it 2 weeks and we'll look at the call, we'll see what the call volume is. Mm-hmm. And that'll dictate, okay, in 2 weeks and we've only gotten one showing or no showings, then, okay, I told you we're too high.
We're adjusting.
So now we'll adjust down.
But people are a little bit like tenants are more forgiving on a price reduction for a rental property. It'll probably stir up more action than anything. The moment we have a price reduction, then it's everybody's starting to sit back and go, okay, how much farther are they going to go?
Right.
What kind of deal can we get? And so it really ends up hurting more than it helps versus pricing it correctly from the beginning and causing the FOMO and the buzz and the drive of this is such a great value and compare it to all the other homes have been sitting on for 100+ days. It looks so shiny and new. Why would you want to waste that opportunity to really shine?
Well, for us, when I do the comps, one of the big things I look at is days on the market.
Yep.
And the price point, if an owner is wanting a certain price point, I'll show them, okay, here's current active properties. They've tried this price point. Yeah. They've been on the market for 120 days. That's already telling me they're we can't be at that price point. We're
Right.
too high.
What
so
different
you need
do
to
we
come
have?
in down here, and we just saved 120 days.
Yep. Unless you just have a whole nother bedroom or something else just outrageous to add the value. But if you're pretty close, which we try to pull comps that are very similar, they've already done the market research for you. So why try?
The numbers don't lie.
They do not lie. So then another mistake we see are stale listings that have like a low effort launch. I see that a lot with other listings where they just slapped it on the market real quick. They didn't fill out the MLS sheet completely. There's no details, no background information. Pictures aren't that great. And you can tell they were rushed to put it on really quickly. And there was a day and time that has been long and gone that you could do that, or certain price points, right? If it's a really, really cheap house, you could probably just slap it up there and someone's going to take it. But for us, like, we have to have a whole strategy. And some of our sellers get so exhausted. But we're like, everything you're doing for homework for us is going to put money back in your pocket. And so it gets a little extensive. But for us, that's all front loaded. And then afterwards, it's gravy from there if we did it right. Do you kind of have the same process?
We're pretty much the same way. We're
just on a lighter scale because of the product you have is a lighter scale.
But we're the big thing for us is vacancy rate.
Okay,
we gotta make sure that if you're in your price point, if you could go down, maybe you could get $25 less on your price point. That could save you $600 in the end if you're staying vacant for 3 or 4 months. So you got to, if you carry that over for the whole year. So I always tell the owners, let's work on the price point. At least we're getting them in the door. And then once they get in the door, they're going to say, okay, this place looks good, clean carpet, clean paint, nice appliances. The main thing is you want to get them in the door. Right. And it's kind of like salesmen for cars, and just
get them to test drive it,
start driving it, and then they fall in love with it.
Yes. And we always say the first showing's online and then the second showing's in person. And so if you can't even get them online because you didn't do good updates to it.
They don't come in the search engine. You're not going to get them.
You're not going to show up at all. There. And part of that's price as well. So it's a multifaceted strategy plan that we just do on the daily and don't think twice about. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to kind of uncover what that looks like.
To me, it's worth waiting another week.
Yes. To do it right.
To do it right. Get the full detailed in the listings, get the room measurements. I see so many that it's 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot.
Right. And we're 0, 0, 0s across everything.
They're just filling in a blank. Make sure you get all the details you can. Give them all the information they need up front. Right. And have good pictures. Make sure you get professional photographies. The ones that have camera pictures.
Yeah, cell phone pictures.
They're terrible.
So tell me, let's say for me, a dream world is we get multiple offers on a property to analyze, but I think there's probably a stopping point for multiple applications for you guys. Like
we try to get as many applications as we can, but we've only had, I guess the most we've ever had is 4 at one time. I know you could go with like 20 of them.
I've had 32 at one time, and it's because I stopped it after a while. I said we have got to stop taking more offers. I can't.
At 4, I cut it off.
It's a lot of variables.
We do all the background checks for all of them, and then we present all of them to the owner at once, and then we let the owner make the decision on which one they want.
Right.
The way I look at it, it's their investment. They should have a little bone.
Yeah, a little meat on it. Yes,
a little meat on the bone.
But you're looking at statistical things like here's their employment history. This is how much
we're looking at credit history, criminal history, rental history, and employment history. And we call each employer. We call it their previous landlords. I know I've mentioned it before. We could write a book on all the lies that we've come up with on the background checks. I mean, it is just crazy that people think you're not going to do a background check.
Most of the time they don't do it or they don't verify it.
If we don't do it, we're not doing our job.
No, it's the ones that are the accidental landlords that just take a friend or a friends of friends and that be told
even family members are not good. Yeah, good runners.
They're not talking about that stuff at the Thanksgiving table at all. So then the other thing I think mistake-wise I see sometimes is the timing. But for you guys, obviously, it's not as big of a deal for timing. Ours is the launch of let's not launch before a holiday weekend. I was actually just telling my team this, like, I'm not launching on, especially on a weekend where people are going to be out of town, like a traveling weekend. No one's going to be in town. Now, there might be some who are serious, but sometimes it's worth waiting one more weekend to get it ready and get it going.
Over the Christmas holidays, we did 3. We
had 3. No, the holidays, because you have
listings.
Relocation people that have to move. I'm all there for holidays, but
it's been good.
But like
good for us.
Easter Sunday weekend, no one's coming to my open house on Easter Sunday. They are out with families. They're doing barbecues, all the things.
So I don't have to worry about it.
I have to worry about that. So we wait. We're like, we're not doing Easter. I get a little funny on even Mother's Day and Father's Day. Like, there's just random Sundays that it's going to not, or you don't do the open house on Sunday. You just do a Saturday open house and call it good.
That's a good thing with our self showings. They can schedule it if they got nothing to do, they can schedule.
They can just go. Yeah. We usually only have about an hour notice, or we try to get ours vacant so we can show at any time as well, because it is so much better to have that flexibility. So I think the biggest thing in flexible showings, I think that's such a really, I think so many other owners and agents really hurt themselves by working from home and saying you can only show during this time to this time.
It's very hard for us if the property
tenants
is occupied.
Are still. What about the old tenants being in place? They never want to show it.
It is tough.
And it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
They're not prepping it.
They're not cleaning it.
No. I'm like, you got to look like you don't live here.
You got to force them that they got to leave the house.
Yes.
It's just bad for everybody on our end.
No, we're about the same way. And like if you've got kids and pets, and that affects our staging, it affects so many things. So a lot of times, I know it's not ideal for people to move out and maybe have a double payment, but sometimes that can make up in price because you're going to get a quicker buyer faster if you can make it more available for more people more often. And it looks great the whole time. Well, I feel like that covers most of it. More thing. What else? What am I missing?
Pets.
What about pets?
I got a lot of owners that, I don't want any pets. So we'll market a property, say no pets. And then the perfect tenant shows up. I tell them up front. I go 60 to 70% of the people
have
renting properties, they have a pet. So you're narrowed your tenant pool to almost nothing. And we bring in, I'll still have people, hey, I got a dachshund and a chihuahua.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything. But it says no pets. We got to get approval. And we end up, usually we start allowing pets.
Okay.
But it's a mindset. You got to, ideally, yes, I understand you don't want a pet in your house, but you got to get over that because you're just going to sit here with an empty house. So pets are very huge for us. You want to make sure you offer that.
Interesting. No, that would be like us with HOA concerns. Like they want to do certain things in the house that the HOA is not going to allow. And you have to understand that might limit your buyer pool as well because of that. So that's okay. I like that.
HOAs for us, another thing where there's a lot of HOAs. They're banning
investors.
They're banning like Airbnb type.
Oh yes.
The short-term leases. They're making it more difficult to rent properties. They'll say, okay, 30% of the houses in the neighborhood can be rentals. They're also doing, you got to live in the house at least 2 years before you can rent the property. There's all kinds of rules different for each HOA, but they're making it harder to rent. And they're doing that on purpose. So if you're buying a house, you need to make sure you
read the HOA
covenants.
So many people get them and don't read them, and then they get mad later.
Right.
You have 3 days to go through them. That should be plenty of time to go through them. But that is something that's very, very important. It's not just a checkbox to check off.
Yep.
Well, perfect. So definitely some fun strategies to use to really build up the buzz around getting it either on the market for sale or for rent. Like we always say, just call and ask us.
That's right.
We'll walk you through the process. You don't have to do it yourself.
That's what we're here to do.
That's what we're here for. Okay, until the next one.